Hello and welcome to the Dunlop Miraval Proving Ground here in south of France. We are here for the launch of the new Dunlop RoadSmart 4 tyres. Dunlop says that these new tyres are better handling, more stable, they have better wet grip, and they have about the same durability as the previous generation. That's a big statement, but we've had a whole day on roads and on track, on wet surfaces, to try and figure out whether that's just a big claim or whether that's actually true. These tyres are marketed for sports tourers. That's a big category, and it contains everything from naked roadsters to actual sports touring bikes with long miles, and everything from commuting to touring to just Sunday rides. So the tyre has to do many different things. It has to be good in the corners, it has to have a long life, it has to be spot on for any weather. And Dunlop has spent years and years getting this tyre right. I mean, the previous generation, the RoadSmart 3, was already a very good tyre. So the bar is very high when Dunlop says that this is an even better one. Some of the stats that Dunlop provided for us was that the wet grip, for instance, has improved quite a lot from the previous generation, which was already good. But there is, I think, 10% more at the front, 25% at the rear. So that's a huge improvement. Just done with new wet grip resins in the compound, and better engineering of the tyre in general. But we wanted to test ourselves and see what the tyres do. So this morning we set off on the roads. We had a few different bikes that we could try the tyres on. I rode the Suzuki GSX S1000 GT, I rode the Honda NT 1100, the BMW R1250 RT, and all of those bikes are quite different, so the feel is slightly different with different suspension and everything. But in every case the tyre was pretty much flawless on the road. I mean, we weren't going absolutely banzai, so we weren't really getting to the absolute limits of the tyres, but there was a very nice, confidence-inspiring feel from the tyre. You tip into corners very nicely, there's a nice gradual turn, and the feel is very confident in corners. In straight lines, going faster, the stability was absolutely fine too. So on the road, everything was fine, but that's not such a drastic test of the tyre necessarily. We had dry roads, reasonably good surface as well. So after lunch, we moved to this setting, the Miraval Proving Ground. The first thing that we did was a workshop with low speed maneuvering. So we went around in small circles very slowly, but we got to compare this tyre with the previous generation. So we started with a bike on the RoadSmart 3s, and then we swapped to a bike with RoadSmart 4s on. And you can feel how the tyre is different, even in low speed. When you turn into a corner, there's a more gradual feel. It's just a little bit more flexible, the new tyre. And they say that the new compound is slightly softer, so not only does it give you a bigger contact patch on the ground compared to the previous generation, but that also helps with that feeling when you turn a corner, because the tyre just lives a little bit more. It's almost as if, in very simple terms, it's almost as if you just took a little bit of the air pressure out, so it just sits a little bit softer against the ground. So that was all good. Then after slow stuff, we moved on to fast testing. So we went on the test track here, and that was a brilliant time to try the new tyres, because again we had different bikes. I was on the BMW S1000XR, I was on the Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX and the Suzuki GSX S1000 GT. But when I got on the Suzuki, the suspension is a little bit harder and you can really feel the tyre. I mean, it grips beautifully around corners, but also when you start getting a bit throttle happy, shooting out of the corner, you can just feel the tyre moving just ever so slightly, gently. There's no drama, but you just get a really nice feel of what's happening there, and that was a real positive. We didn't have the RoadSmart 3s on track, so we didn't do back-to-back testing, but the new tyre performed very well. And finally, we got to ride on the wet track, which was scary as hell, but it was really good to do that. Again, we had the RoadSmart 3 and the RoadSmart 4. And the feel is slightly different. I mean, the wet grip is better in the new tyre, no doubt about that. But there is also a slightly more confident feel in the new tyre, and you feel like you can just get away with a little bit more. We rode around a track that was, it had quite a lot of water on it, so it was an environment where you didn't really want to push it too much. But I was surprised how fast you could really go. There were sections with less grip than in other sections, and you could just feel the tyres move a little bit, but again, no drama. It never let go. It was just a case of seeing how brave you are, really. But all in all, it's been a full day on the tyre. It's been a very good, informative day, and the tyre is very impressive. It has really good stability, really good handling, really good wet grip, and well, durability we can't really test in a day, but it's on par with the previous generation, so it should be pretty good. So I think we can say that Dunlop has done a very good job indeed here. For a full review of the tyre, have a look at the next issue of Motorcycle Sport and Leisure magazine.